So very good morning dear students. After this Diwali break we are meeting for very first time. I hope that you all have enjoyed as well as gone through your family members and have spent enough time. So with this short break you might have got refreshed your mind and are ready for the next work for the academic session of this particular semester. So today's practical it is related with a biostatistics, or is simply called as a biostatics, or you can call it as a biometry. The very first practical where you came across with the aspect of central tendency, that is called as mean, and after that I think you had also performed the standard deviation practical. Today we will go ahead with one more tool or practice which help you to analyze the data, and in fact that data which is analyzed, it may be get represented in various ways. More often it is a graphical presentation of the data instead of a tabular understanding. The graphical presentation, it is considered as a one of the best tool. So today's practical it is related with a title that is frequency distribution and its graphical representation in the form of a polygon, histogram as well as a pie chart. So dear students, you should know what is histogram actually. So this is a kind of a graphical presentation in which the graph it is prepared in such a way that the data consisting information, it is in the form of a bar or it may be in the form of a rectangles. So more often by considering axis x and y, the graphs they may get created by using a numerical data water may be get obtained. So variables they are plotted on the axis, that is x and y of course, but here the uh, data which is represented, that is in the form of a rectangles, or you can simply call it as a bars over there. There are basically there is a another category of a use that a technique of a statistic, that is called as a bar diagram. But that bar diagram, in that case what happens, the rectangles or that vertical columns whatever may be get created, they are having spaces in between. Okay, but here in case of a histogram they all are continuously placed together. So that is the basic difference between bar diagram and histogram. I'll tell you about this one. So this is what about a histogram. If it was a bar diagram, what would happen, there will be a gap in between these two. Okay, so in between these two vertical rectangles there would be a gap over there, and these are these referred as actually class intervals, or sometimes they are the middle values of that one, or classes sometimes. So this is what about the basic idea about the histogram, which gives over, which may tell you a lot of things about that particular numerical data. That is a histogram. How to make it, we'll discuss it later on. After that polygon has to be get made. It is a very simple one in which histogram you have to first of all prepared in like this one what you have seen in earlier case, and after that their mid values they are get connected to each other and they are joined from the point of origin toward the last class interval. So we'll discuss about how to get perform it. So this is what about the frequency polygon, in which we can plot numerical data on a graph and we can get an idea about this particular data. Third category is called as a pie diagram or chart. So this is also one of the important illustration in which numerical data may be get represented in very interesting way, and you can easily understood wherever there is a failure of understanding the data from the tabular content. Such type of diagrams they are much more suitable. In fact, in comparison with histogram as well as in polygon, if data is not get interpreted more properly, the pie diagram it is the ultimately best chance or ultimately best solution over there. So any person who is not having any idea about that complications in the data or numerical values or tabular use that a content or presentation, for them such a layman persons, this particular kind of a presentation is considered as one of the best tool or technique. So basically histogram, polygon as well as a pie charts or pie diagrams, all these three are frequently used by the statistical people as well as we botany as well as a life science related person. In fact this is the more frequently used technique of a representation of a numerical information by not only the field of a science but in humanities as well as in economics or in some other social sciences also. So with this particular idea about what are the basic differences between bar diagram as well as the polygon and pie chart, we'll start with actual process of a histogram. So to know about the histogram, the data must be gathered from based on the observations as well as the certain experiments. Say for example, if experiment is get performed in a such a way that you are having custard apple varieties, or it may be the number of custard apples collected from the field, and if you open and try to check the number of seeds over there, so more the number of seeds, more the chance for the pulpy content over there. That is the simple assumption which is kept over there, and accordingly based on that seeds, because that this particular category of a custard apple fruit, it comes under a special aggregate cat of a fruit in which seeds around them there bears the fleshy content, that is edible part. And so it is try to get correlated. First of all, if number of seeds are more, then maybe pulp may be also more. So that is the basic criteria. After that the criteria may be get changed also by considering different parameters, but basically very fundamental or primary information which was gathered, that is number of the seeds present in that particular sample. Say for example, first custard apple, if it is observed, there are 43, then 44, 45, 44, like this one, almost 30 samples they were gathered or collected, and on that basis this particular observation table has been get made. Now if you look at this particular data, we have to interpret what information we can understood from this particular just a minute. I'm sorry, I had a little bit interruption. So if once data it is made available, now this is the table actually, and looking at the table, no one can make any kind of a conclusion over there, because the very first category of a statistical analysis what you have made, that is nothing but a mean mode median. That is nothing but a kind of a central tendency. Based on this, we cannot make any firm conclusion. In fact, if you go for making a average kind of a information, it may be in a fractions ultimately, but seeds are never in a fraction, so we cannot use that central tendency figure over here. And if you want to make a certain central tendency kind of a conclusion, at that time there will be a lot of deviations. Minimum value it is 43, maximum it may be little bit 48, like that one. In between them there is a great deviation, so even we cannot go for the standard deviation also. So in what way one can perform it? So in very simple way, what you have to do, you have to follow a simple procedure for graphical presentation. Either it may be histogram, polygon, but now the very first thing what we are looking for, that is a histogram. So just go ahead with arranging this particular data in a ascending way, that is in the form of a very much sorted fashion. So whatever data it is given, you just have a look for that in 43, 44, okay, 45, 44, 48. So they are arranged up to this one. Okay, after that we can just go ahead with that again. I think I have selected in this way, horizontal way, 43 to 44, like this one, 43, 43, 44. You just go ahead with and check that one. So in this way data has been get arranged, so from smallest value to the largest value. Dear students, if data it is very bigger, manually doing this particular practice, it is really a very tough job. But as a fresh students, you have to do exercise manually, then you can go ahead with the softwares also. So if you put this particular data in a software, especially there are Excel, very simple basic software. In Excel, if you put this particular data in any randomized way, by putting them a specific formulations over there, mean and max equal formulations over there, we can get easily the range over there. So I'll tell you the next procedure, but manually if you want to do, this is a really great job. First of all, you have to look at the which is least value and which is the maximum one, and accordingly you have to go ahead with one by one arranging it into the ascending way. So this is the basic step, you have to follow this one, arranging the data in a ascending way. That is the first key step. After that, once you arrange the data in systematically in this ascending way, you go ahead with a calculation, especially for finding the class range. Now what is class range? Class range, it is nothing but the value which indicates the lowest and largest figure in this particular data. Now as far as concerned with this particular data, you will find it out that lowest value is a 43 and maximum value which is there, or more one greatest one, it is a 48. So this is in fact by using a software we can easily get determined randomized data. If you put over there and there is a one formula, if it is kept in a Excel you say that sheet, you can apply there is a equal sign and followed by the max in bracket, and you can select this particular source, or definitely you can get this value within a fraction of second only. After this class range, you can consider for the next step of a calculation, that is nothing but determining the class interval. Of course, we know lowest value is a 43 and highest is a 48. So if we'll try to make their intervals classes, what happens, we have to gather this data. So how many fruits were they having, the seed number, that is 43 to 44. This will be, if it is considered as a parameter, this is called as a class interval. So how class intervals we can make? So that was the first task. So now class intervals may be get made based on this particular two figures. Actually what I have made here, a lowest value below to the 43, it is actually not there, but we can consider 42. If it is there, that will be the best fit for the range of a 42 to 44. So in that way I had just selected. If you want, you can go ahead with a 41 to 43 also, 43 to 44, 44 to, in that way. Now very important part that may be raised in your mind is 42 to 44 I have selected here. Some of you may be say that it's, why sir it is not a 42 to 44 followed by 45 to 46. No problem, you can go ahead with that also. So this is called as a continuous arrangement of a data. Okay, these are called as a class intervals, called as a continuous type of class intervals. Sometimes discontinuous form of a class intervals may be there. Sometimes it may be 46 to 48, and later on it may be directly especially in the sectors of economics as well as the commerce or accountancy, the data, it may be randomizedly over there, and it has little bit bigger gaps also of a class interval. It may be 46 followed by the 48, and later on it may be the 48 by you can say that a 68. In that way there may be also possibility, but in that case you had to go ahead with a cumulative data analysis, and followed by that certain error factors we have to resolve it. So at basic level what you have to remember, class intervals हमें तैयार करना है. That is in this way we can make the class intervals. You are free for making any other class also. After that, of course, how many classes we have made, that we have to consider. Now at present, how many classes we have made? I'm sorry. 3 classes are made over there. 1, 2, 3. Okay. There is, in statistics actually there is one more provision. Manually we never follow that one, but if you are using the software, at that time we have to find the midpoint actually over there. So by considering the average value of this one, 42 plus 44, whatever maybe figure is there, okay, that gives rise to a particular figure divided by 2, that value is called as a midpoint, and in this case it will be the 43 midpoint, right? So in second case, if you calculate, it is a 44 plus 46, that is midpoint, it is a 45. So in what way there is a difference? 43, then 45, here it is a 47. In this way there will be a mid value will be get obtained. So that is the another way, but in manual case you have to avoid that, or you can call it as a midpoint. It is always useful for Polygon. So when we'll move ahead with the Polygon, you will get an idea about that part also. So number of classes, number of class intervals we have made over there, and after that, of course, very important part we have to start, and that is nothing but frequency distribution table we have to make. By using same data, we can go ahead with a frequency distribution table. Now how we can perform that frequency distribution table? What we have to do, how many individuals or how many observations are there which lies in this particular category, 42 to 44. Say for example 43 is this value. So for this class interval there will be a tally mark over there, so that this is the first value, so there will be first observation. 43 again first, that comes here, that comes here. Now question may be in your mind, 44 is at 2 places. Okay, this is the preceding class and this is the later one. So always remember the lowest value, that always lies in a previous class. Okay, and but the if data it is in a decimal point, if it is say for example 44.4 is there, so 44.4 if it is there, and you are using such type of a class intervals, at that time 42 to 44 it will be placed for the 44.4. But if it is a 44.5 or 44.6, at that time it will be lies in this particular category. So you can understand this particular basic fact of it. So tally mark you have to make after this one, especially for frequency distribution table we have to take into consideration class range, or sometimes it is called as a class interval also, and of course after that we have to look for the tally marks, and based on that tally mark you will get an idea about the what is exactly repetition over there. So for once you go ahead with this one, so once you make a 5 observations in continuous way, what may be, say for example 43, 43, 44, so 3 times it comes here, but 4th observation when you reach over there, that is also 44. Fifth observation, it is also. So in this way, when you reach to the fourth observation, you can make a diagonal or cross line over there, so that indicates a cluster of 5 observations. So 5 plus 5 plus 5, that is a 15. Obvious, here is the 13. So in this way we are getting the actual frequency, and this frequency value is very very important. So for histogram or diagrammatic presentation or graphical presentation, we need the class intervals as well as the frequency distribution. These two figures are very very important. Now we are making it manually, but if you are using the Excel over there, that happens within a fraction of the second. In fact, I will say that once you have entered the data, after that you have to simply go ahead with a selection of a source one, and you can see that is bean value over there actually. So that is another part. You can explore at your own also later on. If you are having a PC, you can do that. I'm sorry. Okay, so up to this one, I think you are having very clear cut idea. Now after that, what is the next part? It is a time for plotting the graph, or that is called as a histogram. So histogram, it is made in such a way that we have to consider the class interval on x-axis, and on y-axis there should be a frequency. So value of frequency versus the value of class interval, we have to plot the graph. Now in present case, I have selected this is the x-axis. On this x-axis, we have selected the 3 classes or class intervals, and of course on y-axis there is a frequency value what we have observed. Now question may be in your mind, how that frequency might have been get calculated. So dear students, calculating the frequency, it is not that much big or difficult task. Please remember, if you look at this particular table, how many observations are there? There are total 30 observations are there, am I right? So this 30 number has to be get matched with a total of a frequency what you have observed. So 15 plus 13 plus 2, that becomes 30. So out of 30, 15, that is 15 are there. So what is the percentage, or so that particular value we need in a next use that a data, that is referred as basically pie chart. So you have to remember that also part also. This particular information is further get processed for pie chart, but in case of a histogram and in case of a polygon, there is no need of processing further for this particular data. Up to this one, it is more than enough. I hope that you have understood what is histogram. At the beginning I had told you that these are the continuous bars over there, and they gives an idea about how that particular data has been get or observations have been get distributed over there. So this is called as a frequency distribution. At present, what you can conclude, this particular class, okay, 42 to 44 is predominating, or it is having more value, that is 15 individuals have represented this particular data, and followed by that one is a next class, it is a 44 to 46. In this way, by looking at the diagram, you can easily get make any kind of a conclusion. This is very simple one, you can perform that one. Only thing is that once that data which is provided to you in example, you have to arrange it in this way. So it may help you to go ahead with a class range. It may help you to create the class intervals. Once class intervals are made, this particular figure you have to further observe with the raw, either you can with the help of a raw data or with the help of this one. Once you have arranged this one in a ascending way, it help you to make a tally bar also very properly. So after that, frequency value, it may be get ultimately obtained, and later on you have to put it on the graph. So dear students, I hope you have understood this entire concept, and I can move ahead with another aspect, that is called as a frequency polygon. Excuse me, here the spelling of a gon, it is written a little bit wrong. It should be GON. Okay, frequency polygon. Of course, this is a linear graphical presentation where there is a histogram, and on that histogram's mid values or midpoint values, they are get interconnected over there. So till the histogram making, whatever maybe procedure is there, that is exactly same the procedure used for determining the polygon itself, or making the polygon diagram. There are two ways by which polygon may be get drawn. Very first one, it is polygon with a histogram, okay, and without histogram, polygon may be get drawn. So that depends upon the need of a data, or that may be need of a presentation. Accordingly, polygon may be get created by two ways. Today I'll show you here the polygon histogram with a polygon actually. Okay, so without histogram, it is very simple otherwise. So same data we are going for study analysis purpose, especially that is custard apple and how many seeds are there per apple. Of course the data is same, so steps are very simple. We have to follow the procedure just like as the histogram, how we can calculate over there, that is called as a frequency determination. Exactly like that one, we have to arrange the data first of all in ascending way. I repeat the terms. After that you have to go for the calculation in terms of a determination of a class range, that is nothing but the lowest and highest value in this particular data. At present it is 48 is the highest, lowest is the 43. Followed by that you have to go ahead with a making of a class intervals based on the 43 to 48. We can determine the class intervals like as a 42 to 44, 44 to 46 and 46 to 48. Now next job is that we have to measure the how many classes are there. Of course there are three classes, means definitely in a diagram there will be three actual points of the you say that conclusions are there. After that we have to prepare the frequency distribution table, and this table is nothing but the essence of what we have so far made over there, that is class intervals, and based on that we had to go ahead with I'm sorry, tally bars over there. So tally bars, they are made by using manual observations which lies over there in that particular class interval or class range 42 to 44. How many are there, you have to just put the tally mark over there. Then next class value is 44 to 46, how many are there, you have to just go and mark that particular value like this one. And in this way, once you go ahead with this particular information, you will make a final figure over there, that is nothing but your frequency. So once again I repeat here, those students who have missed in a previous section, that is 42, here the value 44 is there, the letter value of a presiding class, okay, that is actually considered as a maximum limit over there, okay, or it is called as a upper limit over there. So the values whenever in table, in this particular table you find that particular value, okay, 44, okay, this 44 value, instead of in a second cell or instead of in a next use that a class interval, you have to put it into the presiding one or previous one. Whereas the 44 to 46, this will be received the range over there. If it is in a decimal point, I have repeated that one, at that time this such type of a data, it may be receives intermediate figures over here. Otherwise purely 44 value, whatever may be 44 are there, that will be in a very first class interval. Whatever may be are 46 are there, that will be in a second one, not in a third one. So I think you have understood this one, okay. So all 46 they are here in a second, all 44 are the in first one, okay. If there was a further class of a 48 to 50, so all 48 will be in fourth one. So I think concept is now clear. So we can make a frequency of that one. The determination of frequency, it is quite easy, just to make the total number of tally bars, how many are there, that is nothing but the more frequently observed values or frequencies over there. So after this we have to plot the graph actually. Now how one can make a polygon over there. So frequency polygon can be get obtained in such a way that histograms midpoints or middle value we can first of all get join over there. So joining the mid values, that is the first basic step, and for that purpose if you make such type of a histogram, what will you find it over there, the mid value 42 to 44, what is that particular class, here it will be actually 43 value, right. So from this 43, or from here it is a 45, or from here it is a 47, okay, what is that frequency representing value is there. So midpoint of this particular class interval, it is determined if you are not plotting the graph, okay. If you are not plotting the graph, what we can do, 42, I'll simply represent how it is get calculated, I'll tell you just now. So here is a actual two ways by which we can determine these values, that is called as a midpoint or mid values. So if you are not going to make a histogram, okay, so mid value or midpoint determination is one of the important tasks, and this mid value can be get determined by means of very simple formula. Whatever maybe is present here, that is 42, okay, is the lowest limit, lower limit, and upper limit in this particular case it is a 44, am I right. So the summation of both, okay, whatever maybe it is divided by 2, this figure you will give a midpoint for the first class, that is in this particular case it is a 43. Similarly if you go ahead with this particular one, 44 plus 46, it gives rise to midpoint value, that is nothing but a 45. Similarly, in third case, it is 46 plus 48 divided by 2, that is nothing but your 47. I think you have understood this concept now. So polygon may be prepared in two ways, by using with a histogram and without histogram. So when you are not using the histogram, that is without histogram, at that time this midpoint calculation is very important. So if you are calculating the midpoint values, that is 43, so this type of values you have to put over here. So here will be 43 value, here it is another, that means there is one more extra additional column you have to design over there, and 47. Now in this particular case, what you are going to select if it is that particular value? So class interval you can put on y-axis, no doubt, as it is, okay, x-axis, sorry, all these class intervals, and on y-axis you are definitely collecting putting the values of the frequency. But midpoint value, that is nothing but the 42 to 44, it is actually here, this particular point 45, here it is a 47. Now if you are not having this particular histogram, now at present it is histogram, so what would be the mid value? Ultimately here there is no need for the midpoint determination. Now in this way, here is the midpoint, here is the midpoint, so you have to mark that midpoint. If you have plot the histogram, if you are planning for frequency polygon along with a histogram, so these midpoints you have to first of all mark, okay. So once marking it is done, next point is that we have to go ahead with connecting these particular points of our marking to each other, okay. So this is actually point, okay, this is the actually midpoint value, that is actual 43 corresponding to this particular 43 midpoint. This is nothing but the 15, here it is a 13, and here it is a I think 2 is there. So in this way the points are get marked, and of course the next job is very important now, that is you have to connect all these points together, and that connecting the point, it is very important. Please remember, the very first point whatever maybe it is there has to be get connected to the adjoining one with a free hand, actually sharp points actually. So once they are get connected to each other, task is not get over. Now the lower limit is here actually, and maximum limit is here actually after 48, okay. So these points you have to join, and now to the center of origin or point of origin, and here it is the last one. So this particular area is indication of a polygon, frequency polygon. So at present this particular diagram it indicates, or graph it indicates, or it represents the histogram with a polygon. If you are not putting this bar diagram, what it indicate, that will be simply a, means it will be appear like this one only, simply, okay. So basically you can call it as a such type of a diagram it may be observed, and the points are connected to the end. So in this way, this is without histogram, and this is lower one, it is a with histogram. Dear students, I think you have cleared all this basic concept over there. Now by assuming that you are well understood, we'll move ahead with the next part, because it's a little bit lengthy discussion. Now what maybe we have discussed so far in previous two cases, that is making the histogram as well as the polygon. Same procedure you can follow for pie diagram, okay. If data data analysis has to be get made in a class interval pattern, but sometime what happen, data it may be different, because at present I have given you a simple data which is having the range of values over there, but sometime we people I'm sorry, perform certain experiments, and in that case a particular chemical compound, if you can just for example assume vitamin C is there, and you are having different varieties of a a particular plant fruit is there, say for example lemon, and there are suppose 10 to 20 varieties are there, and in these 20 varieties what is that particular range of a vitamin C is there, and this type of information you have collected means 20 observations and 20 different values of a vitamin C's are there, and in that case the distribution value you have to determine. In that case also pie diagram may be get utilized without having a range, actually directly we can go ahead with. Or in case of a commerce section, or it may be in marketing, the sale, if it is made for a certain gadget, say for example refrigerator has been get sale, but there are suppose 10 brands are there, and based on the 10 brands what was the sale value, and if you want to represent it for the your sales executive or to some other higher authorities, at that time pie diagrams or some other you see that a presentation mechanism may be get applied over there. So instead of going changing the data, I'll use same data again for the pie diagram form explanation. So data from the custard apple seeds observations, it is kept over here, as just like as in previous case. We can proceed for determination of a frequency first of all, and after that I'll tell you how to make it. So data has to be get arranged in ascending way. For by that we can go for the actual class range for determination, that is maximum and minimum value of observation in that data. Followed by that we can make the class intervals on the basis of a max and minimum value. Of course a number of classes you have to also take into consideration, and followed by that we had to prepare the frequency distribution table first. Now frequency distribution table is purely based on the tally markings over there, and that is happening only after individual observations and class intervals comparison. Of course class intervals compared with a individual value and tally marks, once they are get made, we get a final figure that is called as a frequency. Now dear students, actual task starts here onward now. Okay, pie diagram. Okay, in case of a pie diagram, after having a value for the frequency, next task is actually started. Now what is that next task? Okay, please remember these all steps. I'll give you a hint for you. These water maybe animations are coming on now on screen. These are the actual point of remembering. Okay, so very first what you have to do for the pie diagram, once you are having a frequency data, you have to data, that one you make the total of that particular value. So we know that total, it confirms the actual observations water maybe are there in a raw data. Okay, this is the raw data, water maybe the actual observations are there, are they matching with your actual calculation, that will be get confirmed. Okay, total 30, total 30, it's okay. Now this total, among this total 30, 15 are lying in a range of a 42 to 44. So here we have to go ahead with a percentage determination. Second point, first point टोटल निकालो, सेकंड पॉइंट परसेंटेज निकालो. परसेंटेज निकालने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? सो सिंपल सी बात है यहाँ पे. ओके, प्लीज़ रिमेंबर 30 में से 15. ओके, दैट मीन्स हाउ यू कैन कैलकुलेट द परसेंटेज. सो ऑब्जर्व वैल्यू इज 15 डिवाइडेड बाय 30. सो in 100 cases of observations, what would be the exact status? So if you measure in this way, you will get an idea that this particular data, okay, is showing the figure that is of course percentage. Okay, so of course this particular value of percentage I'm sorry I'm not feeling well actually. So value what is observed here, manual calculation I am telling you, this is of course 50. You can just check it if I'm wrong. Okay, so in this way percentage has to be get calculated, that is the second step. In this way first one is a 50, second is a 43, and third one is a 7%. Of course this value is around in fractions and I have made it converted into the round figure actually. Okay, basically it was a 43.33 and it was something 6.99 like that one. So it is made always remember that one figure should not be more than 100. Okay, it should be exactly 100. If your figure it goes beyond 200, there's something is wrong over there. Now please remember, as you know, pie chart, it is nothing but a circle diagram. Okay, and all of you know that circle, that angle is nothing but a 360. What is that one? So in the area of a 360 degree, okay, in a area of a 360 degree, our data has to be get distributed. Our data has to be get distributed. So here is the center point or center, and somewhere any axis you can select over there. From that, the data it lies. It may be from this side or it may be from this side. What may be is that data. Okay, so we have to first of all decide the factor. So 360 degree, okay, under that particular area, or what is that percentage value? 50 plus 43 plus 7. Here it is that value which is coming. It is a 100%. Am I right? So 100% वैल्यूज़ जो है ऑब्जर्वेशंस के अपने जितने भी वैल्यूज़ है उन्हें हमें रखना है कहाँ पे? वी हैव टू पुट इट अंडर दी 360 डिग्री. सो एक सिंपल सी बात है. कैन यू टेल मी? सो 360 डिग्री करस्पॉन्ड्स टू 100. ओके, 100%. तो 1% का अगर हमें वैल्यू चाहिए यहाँ पे, तो 1% के लिए कितना आ जाएगा? सिंपल सी बात है. ओके, 100 is to 360, so 1 is to 3.6. I have made it simple. I have made it simple. Otherwise simple सा फॉर्मूला, दूसरा फॉर्मूला कैसा रहता है डिग्री डिटरमाइन करने के लिए? आई विल टेल यू. ओके, टू डिटरमाइन द डिग्री, सबसे पहले हमें क्या पता है? हाउ इज परसेंटेज? 50% इज देयर. ओके, सो राइट हियर 50. After that, what is the angle of degree? That is 360, and then multiply it by means of actual 100. So in that way also you can go ahead with it. Okay, but ultimately I have tried to made it very in a simple way. I'm sorry, 100 upon 360 actually here. In that way we can go ahead with it. 100 out of 100, 50 is there. So for 360, how much? So value or figure that comes here is equal to ultimately 360. So 50 into 360. What you have to do here? You have to use this particular multiplying factor. 3.6 has to be get used here as a multiplication factor. So how this factor comes here? You have to remember this one. Okay. So there are different ways. Either you want to go ahead with a 50 upon 360, 50 upon 100 into 360, or it may be the 43 upon 100 into the 360. Ultimately figure what you are getting, it is degree of angle. In first case it is 180 degree, second 144.8 degree, and last one is a, if you make a calculation of these all three figures, this figure should not exceed than the 360 degree. So once degree are get measured, next job is that sometime what happens, that data, your data, it may be sometimes randomized. Lowest value it may be somewhere in middle, highest value it may be randomizedly somewhere if data is bigger one. Now fortunately in our case what is happening, highest figure 180 degree, followed by less and least value. So in this way data it is already in a order, decreasing order. Either it should be in a, increasing order, or it may be in decreasing, but it should be in a ordered. So next job is to check is arranging the data in a proper way if it is not in order one. So always remember why it is essential, because whenever we plot a pie chart or diagram, at that time suppose this 180 degree is there, okay, we have to mention that particular figure 180 degree somewhere, exactly 180 degree it is here, 180 degree. So this, but I'm sorry, this particular data a pura area, so this is of a 180 degree. Am I right? And after that what is there, suppose 180 followed by instead of 154 आपने क्या किया 24 ले लिया, और इसमें और एक कोई दूसरा अगर फिगर होता था तो यहाँ पे छोटा और बाद में यहाँ पे फिर से बड़ा. ओके, दैट लुक्स वेरी ऑड. सो इफ इट इज़ इंक्रीजिंग इन ऑर्डर, मोर ऑफन डेटा इट इज़ रिप्रेजेंटेड. अभी यहाँ पे 3 वैल्यू, इसीलिए ज़्यादा कंट्रोवर्सी है ही नहीं है, किसी भी तरह से आपने किया तो भी कोई इशू नहीं है. लेकिन समझो यहाँ पे 4 अगर फिगर होते हैं, ओके, सो इन क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन और इट में भी इन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन अगर आप जाते हो तो लोएस्ट लार्जर, उससे थोड़ा सा कम और उससे थोड़ा सा कम. अभी यहाँ पे अगर हम क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन जाते हैं तो ये ऑर्डर फॉलो नहीं होता है, बिगेस्ट वैल्यू और बीच में छोटा सा वैल्यू. लेकिन इसको हम एंटी क्लॉकवाइज है ऐसा अगर कंसिडर कर देते हैं यहाँ पे, ओके, तो अभी आपको इस तरह से दिखाई नहीं देगा। ओके, तो ये गड़बड़ क्या हो चुका है समझ में आ रहा है। सो लार्जर फॉर बाय द स्मॉलर, ऐसा नहीं आना चाहिए। तो बेसिकली क्या चाहिए, लार्जर, उसके बाद एक्चुअली 180 के बाद यहाँ पे आपको 154 फिगर आनी चाहिए। तो ये कैसे किया जाता है, सो इट इज़ मेड बाय यूजिंग ए प्रोट्रैक्टर। तो आपको क्या करना होता है, जब भी ये सर्कल निकालते हो एक एंगल आपको बनाना है। आई विल शो यू हाउ टू मेक दैट पर्टिकुलर वैल्यू। ओके, सो अरेंज करने के बाद, डेटा हमने अरेंज किया, तो उसके बाद हमें करना है प्लॉटिंग द पाई चार्ट विद द हेल्प ऑफ ए प्रोट्रैक्टर एंड यू हैव टू लेबल इट। नो, प्रोट्रैक्टर से हम यूज़ करते हैं तो फाइनल आउटपुट जो दिखने वाला है, इट इज़ सिंपल वन, इट इज़ लाइक दिस वन। अभी यहाँ पे क्या किया आप ध्यान में रखिए, मैंने बोला था आपको अरेंज करना है ऑर्डर में, और मैंने आपको एक फॉल्स एग्जांपल दे दिया। आपने लार्जर वैल्यू 180 डिग्री का ये ले लिया और बाद में आपने क्या किया, 25 डिग्री का एंगल ले लिया। वो कैसे कर निकालते हैं वो ध्यान में रखिए। सबसे पहले आपको क्या करना है, कोई मिड सेंटर पॉइंट लेना है। सेंटर लेने के बाद कहीं से भी एक एक्सिस आप डालिए यहाँ पे। तो जैसे यहाँ पे एक हाफ रेडियल ड्रा करते हो, तो आपके पास प्रोट्रैक्टर, आप सबको पता है वो डी शेप जैसा ज्योमेट्री बॉक्स में रहता है, राइट। तो उसको आपको यहाँ पे रखना है। ओके, उस डी शेप वाला जो पार्ट रहता है उसका जो सेंटर जहाँ पे 90 डिग्री एंगल आ जाता है, ये इस तरह से यहाँ पे आपने रख दिया, समझ लो। ओके, यहाँ पे रख दिया। तो आपको पता है कि यहाँ से 0 हो गया, यहाँ पे 90 आ गया, यहाँ पे 120 आ गया। इन दिस वे 180 कहाँ पे आ जाता है, अल्टीमेटली यहाँ पे आ जाता है। तो जैसे यहाँ पे 180 आ गया, तो आपको जो स्केल है उस स्केल से आपको क्या करना है, लाइन ऐसे खींचना है। ओके, लाइन आपने यहाँ पे खींच लिया। अभी नेक्स्ट पॉइंट पे क्या करना है, आपका प्रोट्रैक्टर जो है वो कहाँ पे रखना है, ये अभी लाइन, ये आपने जो नया लाइन ड्रॉ किया था, अब आपके अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए मैं थोड़ा सा स्केल चेंज करने जा रहा हूँ, कलर चेंज कर देता हूँ, यू विल गेट एन आइडिया अबाउट दैट वन। ओके, अभी सपोज ये आपने लाइन यहाँ पे ड्रॉ किया था। ओके, तो अभी आपका जो प्रोट्रैक्टर रहेगा कहाँ पे लगाओगे आप, यहाँ पे लगाओगे। लेकिन कैसे यहाँ पे लगाओगे ये ध्यान में रखिए। आपका जो प्रोट्रैक्टर का जो सेंटर रहता है, मिडल 90 डिग्री को करस्पॉन्ड करने वाला जो फिगर है, वो ऐसे यहाँ पे ऐसे लगाओगे। ओके, जैसे लगाओगे तो फिर से आप रीड करोगे यहाँ पे। हाँ, अभी आप किस डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हो, इस डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हो। ओके, सो पहला आपने एंगल क्या किया, 180 डिग्री डाला था। दूसरा भी क्या करने जा रहे हैं, 144.80 डिग्री जाना, 8 डिग्री जाना है। तो आपको यहाँ पे लगा दिया आपने, ये प्रोट्रैक्टर यहाँ पे लगा दिया। तो आपका एंगल इस तरह से जाएगा, 0 ये करते करते यहाँ पे 90 आ जाएगा। 90 आ जाने के बाद यहाँ पे कहीं पे तो आपको क्या मिलेगा, 154.8 मिला, यहाँ पे मिला। तो सीधा यहाँ से आपको लाइन ड्रॉ कर देना यहाँ पे। आई होप दैट यू अंडरस्टूड नाउ। तो ये करने के बाद आपका ये जो सेकंड एरिया है दैट इज़ ऑल्सो गेट ऑक्यूपाइड। अभी बच जाती है ये लाइन। सो इसके ऊपर आपको प्रोटेक्टर रखना है। अभी वो कैसे रखोगे यहाँ पे, सो अल्टीमेटली फिर से ये सेंटर है आपका, तो सेंटर अगर इसको कंसिडर किया तो अभी फिर से मुझे एक इंक चेंज करना पड़ेगा। आई विल यूज़ अनदर वन। जस्ट ओके, तो अभी आपको क्या करना है, प्रोटेक्टर ये सेंटर वाला पॉइंट यहाँ पे था। ओके, तो आप क्या करने जा रहे हो, यहाँ से आपका ये 90 डिग्री का यहाँ पे आ जाएगा प्रोटेक्टर, और ये यहाँ से इस तरह से आपने रख दिया ऐसे हाइपोथेटिकल लाइन पे यहाँ पे आ गया। तो जैसे आप मेजर करना शुरू करोगे यहाँ से, तो ये आपको अल्टीमेटली, अभी ये लास्ट है फिगर इसलिए आपको बनाने की ज़रूरत नहीं, लेकिन और सपोज लो चौथा होता तो यहाँ से आपको वैल्यू मिलता। तो अल्टीमेटली ये एंगल जो मिला आपको, so this represents the third class interval, that is nothing but a 46 to 48. So dear students, I hope that you understood in what way we can draw the pie chart. Of course यहाँ पे आपकी बात ख़त्म नहीं होती। तो जो अभी आपने स्केल यूज़ किए होगे, जो कलर्स यूज़ किए, उसको आपको इंडेक्स में देना है, इस तरह से देना है। ऑफ कोर्स इसके बाद भी यहाँ पे लेबल करना है हमें। ये 46 ये जो आपको दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, ओके, 42 to 44 ये जो आ गया आपका, एक्चुअली परसेंटेज टर्म पे अगर आप बात कर लेते हो, दिस इज़ दी 50%। तो ये आप यहाँ पे लिखना है 50%, ये लेबल करना जरूरी है। सो जो पॉइंट लास्ट में मैंने बोला कि लेबल दी आई एम सॉरी, इट इज़ नॉट पॉलीगॉन, इट इज़ लेबल दी पाई चार्ट। ओके, आफ्टर दैट ये हो गया पहला। इसी ऑर्डर में हम जैसे जाते, व्हाट इज़ द नेक्स्ट वन, हियर इट इज़ ए 43 and of course last one it is a 7%। So all these should be get label, and here it ends. Based on this one, we can easily conclude in what way data is get segregated. I hope that all of you are well comfortable with this particular process and technique, and it is not that much difficult. I'll try to give use that a mute, use that a animation in a video if it is time permits to me. If anyone is having doubt or difficulty, just let me know. Meanwhile, before taking your questions, let me know about Yadvendra. Have you posted the content of today's writing over there for the students?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So, dear students, where is it posted? The students know it, I think, very well, right? So, all dear students, please check today's write-up. It is given to you, especially on Google Classroom itself. Perhaps, if I'm not wrong, it is posted over there. You check that particular content, and if you want to see how does it look, I'll try to show you if it is with me. Let me check first whether it is with me or not. Okay, such a Google form it may be there. यादेंद्र Google form ही है क्या उसमें?
No, sir. Google Form separate है, sir.
नहीं नहीं, नॉट गूगल फॉर्म, गूगल डॉक्यूमेंट में ही दिया है ना उनको, या पीडीएफ में दिया है, कैसे दिया है? आई एम नॉट चेक इट, आई हैव
Document me, sir.
आई विल चेक दैट इन लाइव स्ट्रीम में. सी द कंटेंट फॉर द टुडेज, yeah, it is posted here in a Google Classroom. In fact, you just open that one, check it there. You will find this is a form, and how does it look? It looks like as this one. There were certain corrections, I have made that correction in fact. So you can see that one. अभी आपको जर्नल में राइटिंग क्या करना है पहले बताता हूँ ये. ओके, सो वॉटर में भी कंटेंट यू आर हैविंग, डोंट बी हरी फॉर राइटिंग ऑल दिस पार्ट. जैसे दिया है वैसे वैसे का वैसे लिखो. पेज नंबर 1 नो प्रॉब्लम, पेज नंबर 2 पे जैसे आ जाएगा आपका एग्जाम्पल नंबर 1 आएगा, और जो प्रोसीजर जो लिखा है, ओके. सो जैसे ही ये प्रोसीजर वाला पार्ट हो जाता है, आपका जो सेकंड ब्लैंक पेज जो रहेगा, उस ब्लैंक पेज पे ये पूरा का पूरा प्रोसीजर करना है जो आपको मैंने अभी प्रेजेंटेशन जो करके दिया था, उसका मैं एक अभी इसमें लाइव स्ट्रीम में, इफ़ इट इज़ पॉसिबल जस्ट लेट मी नो वेदर इट इज़ गेटिंग ओपन और नॉट. सब लोग आप चेक कर लीजिए. वाटर में भी कंटेंट आई एम गोइंग टू पोस्ट हियर, जस्ट मिनट, आई विल डू दैट वन. If it works, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll separately give it to you. Yes, it is working there. So, dear students, ये आप क्या कर सकते हैं, चेक कर सकते हैं आपके स्ट्रीम में. जो आपको कंटेंट दिया है यादेंद्र सर ने, उसके साथ एक ब्रीफ वीडियो है जो अभी हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे, शायद उसी का. ये जस्ट आप ओपन करके पॉज करते 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 आप अपना प्रैक्टिकल कंप्लीट कर सकते हो. सो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू इज़ दैट जो ब्लैंक पेजेस है वहाँ पे किस तरह से टेबल बनाना है, किस तरह से डेटा बनाना है, वो आप बना सकते हो उसमें. सो इट्स लुक लाइक दिस वन. देर इज़ नो डायलॉग ओवर देर, आई थिंक. नो, इट्स नॉट दैट वीडियो, इट इज़ समथिंग डिफरेंट. सॉरी 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 सॉरी, इट्स नॉट दैट वन. जस्ट मिनट, I'll provide you. That link is something different one. Just give me 1 minute. let's check that now. This is a mute video. There will be nothing as such a dialogue, but you can understood that particular step, each and every step over there. So this will be work if you open it. So as many time you want, you can just open that video and watch it. I'm just checking it whether it is visible to you or not. I hope it works there. It works, no problem. You can go ahead with that particular video. It is a self-explanatory, no need for going for much more use that getting panic. Everything it is there. Only thing is that where to draw, it is on the blank page. So all problems. So whenever first data table is given, for that there are three results are there, three forms are there, and once it is get finished, okay, I'll stop here. Once it is get finished, means first data result I have given to you already, I have solved that one, okay. But in second case, once it is get finished, you enter this data and you by using the first technique जो हमने तीन एनालिसिस किए हैं, पहला हिस्टोग्राम किया, दूसरा पॉलीगॉन किया और तीसरा पाई चार्ट किया, ये सेकंड एग्जांपल के लिए करना है. तो आज के लिए आप फिलहाल क्या करोगे, जो वीडियो में जो जिस तरह से दिया है वो बना सकते हैं. टिल 9:30 तक आपका वो कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, आराम से हो जाएगा. और उसके बाद ये सेकंड जो है एज ए असाइनमेंट होमवर्क चेक करोगे. जब हम अपना जर्नल चेक करेंगे पूरा का पूरा PDF फाइल, वो टाइम पे ये प्रॉब्लम आपका सॉल्व किया हुआ उसमें दिखना चाहिए. नाउ आई विल टेक योर क्वेश्चंस एंड आंसर्स. इफ़ यू आर हैविंग एनी क्वेरी, यू कैन जस्ट आस्क इट बाय अनम्यूटिंग योरसेल्फ.
Sir, this practical we have to write in the paper 2 journal, right?
Yeah, it's a part of paper 2.
And the table that you have given, that should come on the writing page.
Yeah. The table which is there, that is a actual example, okay. I am talking about the example table should be on a writing page, okay. And what may be tables, I have explained you, I had drawn, I have animated over there, or that is a part of an answer or solution, that would be on the blank page, okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Who else?
So we have to draw the histogram, pile, everything, right?
Yeah.
Like along with the table.
Yeah. You take your own time. Video मैंने आपके लिए रखा है, that is available in your Google Classroom, okay. So at any time you can use that one. And of course every step you have to follow. In exam, such a single data it is given and you are asked over there to prepare histogram, either it may be polygon either, or it may be the pie chart on such data, okay. So please remember, if it is in physical space exam may be get conducted, you are supposed to actual calculate and then you have to draw that one. Nitin sir, any other thing if you want to add, you can add it.
I think by sharing the video, I think you had made it more self-explanatory. The students can very well go back and practice it. And tomorrow they are again going to meet